Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. Well, something very interesting has happened. Chennai, of course, were put into bat by Rishabh Pant. And I think you can safely say that you had some patches of great bowling, you had some patches of great fielding, some patches of great batting. And at the end of the day, it's 188 is what Chennai have managed to put in the board. And Mumbai, at one time, it looked like they'd go beyond 200. At one time, it looked like they may go to 160. And then there was a crazy 19th over, which got 22 runs. And, well, Bob's your uncle. There they are at 188 for 7 is where they've ended. And just remember that with Chennai, and what I find is absolutely mind-boggling, is that there was still Dwayne Bravo to bat. There's 7 wickets down. Dwayne Bravo, they lost that wicket in the last ball. So Dwayne Bravo would have walked into bat if there was another delivery. But that's the kind of batting lineup that Chennai went with today. And it actually did pay dividends for them, because this is a much better batting effort than they had in 2020, because they were struggling with those. So we'll talk about the acceleration in just a second, despite the fact that it was not a very healthy power play, just going at about 6.5 in the power play, escalating after that. Well, we have Joy Bhattacharjya and Michael Vaughan here with me. Joy, Chennai will grab this with both hands, especially if you saw their score after over number 6.
Absolutely. And I think what they've done is that what they couldn't do last year is, even though they had fairly long batting orders last year, there wasn't the urgency there. There wasn't the urgency, so they end up with a lot of wickets in hands, but guys not going early. Here, even whatever Dhoni did, Dhoni got out in the second or third ball, but he didn't waste any time. Everyone who came in after the 13th, 14th over went for it immediately. And that urgency is what I love about them playing today. They've obviously learned something from last year, that, they're not going to leave too much till the end. They started accelerating. Sam Curran, Ravindra Jadeja, everyone played their part. And I think that's what's important. It's not as single dominated. Dhoni is not as big a player as he is, but the pieces around him have got significantly better last year, of course. And Raina coming back is a huge, huge difference.
Absolutely. Raina getting a half century and sort of tragically getting run out there. But Michael, let's just talk about the Curran brothers. Like 2 stories there, right? The 17th over where Tom gets the better of Sam, and then the 19th where Sam gets better of Tom.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, when you've got 2 brothers playing against each other. The amount of cricket that they would have played against each other in the backyard would have been hours, weeks. I know they have another brother. I think the competitive nature, all 3, obviously the father, Kevin, was a similar kind of competent all-round cricketer. Sam Curran, he amazes me all the time. I just love watching the way that he plays cricket. He always seems to play the game in the right spirit, the right manner. He's got such power for quite a short chap, and he's got the skill, he's got the pull shot, he's got the hits down the ground, and he's got those eyes. Both the Curran brothers, when they play, they've got those eyes that they just like being out there competing. They don't really feel the pressure. Great to see. And it's a good score, as Joy said. It looks a decent score. I mean, the pitch is played true. Surprised that Chris Woakes only bowled 3 overs. 3 overs, 2 for 18. So Rishabh probably missed a trick not getting 4 overs out of an experienced pro like Chris Woakes. But, from the Delhi perspective, as soon as the spinners come on, they've got to take them downtown, because they have certainly seen like the kind of bowlers that you can really gather into the staff on a few occasions.
Let's talk about Suresh Raina, because there was a lot of talk of Suresh Raina coming back to play competitive cricket after a fair bit. Comes back, I think didn't play the last season, so it would have been, over a year since he played competitive cricket. It didn't look like it. Didn't look rusty one bit, Joy.
Absolutely. I just want to take my words back. Exactly. He played the Mushtaq Ali for just 5 matches. He's played the last 1.5 years. He's played 5 matches for Mushtaq Ali, and he didn't bat in one of them, got out early in the other, got a 56, but wasn't really impressive. So from there, what he's done, how he's proved himself, and a lot of cricketers talk about not being match fit. This guy just turned on it. He was streaky. That first couple of overs, I think Moin did a great job of taking the pressure off him. Moin was attacking, and therefore he could afford, though the wickets had fallen, he could afford to take a little bit more time. But when he got that first 6, reasonably straight, you could make out, okay, Raina is still there. The hunger is there. The gleam in his eyes is there. And, out anyone, because, all the notices about his obituary are very premature. Raina's there and kicking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives that have come out for Chennai from this game, Michael. The biggest accusation that was against them in the 2020 game was they were just snoozing when it came to their scoring rate. It just seemed like it was always flattering to deceive that it would come, it just never came. And here, throwing Moeen Ali up at 3 with Suresh Raina in form, Ambati Raidu, Sam Curran, Ravindra Jadeja, they all got something. Leaving aside Rituraj Gaikwad and Faf du Plessis, of course, Dhoni got a duck. But leaving them aside, I mean, there's a lot of positives. You'll get that when you play 11 batsmen, but the majority have been positives here.
Yeah, and also they got a good pitch. I think the Wankhede Stadium is always a ground where, as a batsman, you know that you've got a great chance of scoring quickly. It just offers you that bounce, so you know that as soon as it's in your zone, you can just trust it to hit down the ground over mid-wicket. Suresh Raina got a couple over mid-wicket. That was the Suresh Raina from 5 or 6 years ago. I thought he played with tremendous control and timing. When you think he hasn't played a great deal of cricket, to get the timing straight away was great to see. But yeah, the approach is important. You know, the approach of any T20 team is very important, that you send the message that this is our DNA, this is what we're about. You know, when you play so many batters, you know, you have to go hard. But it's not that every player goes hard. You're then going to have players that have to read the game and stay in for a longer period to allow the firecrackers to go from pretty much ball one. And I still think it's the kind of pitch that I only think is around par. You know, from the shots that I saw, the timing, the kind of deflections that were going down to third man as well, I do think it's a par score. But you know, when you get par and you've got the skill levels that we know that the Chennai Super Kings have, of course they'll fancy defending it. But I also feel that Ricky Ponting will be in that dressing room saying to his team, "Look, someone get in and we'll chase this down."
Yeah, let's have a look at the Delhi batting lineup. Of course, it's quite a. I mean, it's a long batting lineup as well. It's a batting lineup that's in form. Quick look at the bowlers for Delhi, what they did. I mean, it's 188, but there's been some decent bowling performances in there for Delhi for sure. There's Chris Woakes, of course, the big surprise that he bowled only 3 overs because he was really kind of the pick of the bowlers there with, 18 and 2. Sorry, I'd have to say him and Avesh both starting. Avesh getting that wicket of Dhoni as well, and the early wickets of 4 and 23 for him. Ashwin was expensive. Tom Curran just had one last over, fairly expensive. Amit Mishra 3 for 27, and Marcus Stoinis 2 for 26. Well, definitely Woakes and Avesh are the big positive here, Joy, for Delhi today.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing that's happened is that Delhi is traditionally known for their spin. I mean, Amit Mishra is the highest wicket taker in the IPL. Ashwin is one. They went after the spin. You know, that's an interesting thing. That Chennai, last year their problem was they weren't scoring against spin. You know, our producer tells us they were scoring at only about 7 and over against spin. Here they went after. They went for 74 and 7 versus the 2 spinners. 7 overs from Ashwin and Mishra, and they go for 74 runs. And Ashwin going for 47 and 4, that's not something you see normally. But that's what they're probably telling each other, saying, this is a small ground. Fast bowlers find it better out here. You have to target the spinners. And they did. Yeah. You could see Moeen doing it early. Once Raina got into form, he did it. They went after them. And I think that's what I like about it. This Chennai team is playing with intent.
Yeah, well, Chennai usually has a lot of spinners. Today, let's have a look at their lineup. Remember, they have almost, I think, 9 in their squad. But as far as the 11 is concerned, today, of course, using the pitch, using the conditions, they've gone with Deepak Chahar, Shardul Thakur, Dwayne Bravo, Sam Curran. So, and the spin only comes from Ravindra Jadeja and Moeen Ali, Michael, but both very, very clever spinners. And Delhi will do well to go after them if they can, but these guys are not easy to go after.
No, they're not, but it's about combinations. It's about left hand, right hand to make it difficult. As I said before, Chennai will fancy defending this kind of total, but Delhi will also fancy chasing it down. I think we're in for a cracker. We had a cracker last night. It wouldn't surprise me if we go right down to the last over on this day as well, because of the nature of the score, the pitch. I don't think Delhi are ever going to be out of this game because we saw that players, it didn't seem that it took them long to get in. It didn't seem to take that long to get used to the pace and the bounce. You saw Sam Curran stride out there. He had a few balls, then went, right, I'll hit a few into the stands, and he got his timing straight away. Suresh Raina the same, Moeen Ali. If Delhi can get one of their top three to a score of 60 plus, I fancy that they'll chase this down. And it's going to be tough. MS Dhoni's the coolness, the king of the tight situations. So you have to say that the tactical nous and the experience with Chennai in terms of manoeuvring this kind of game. But Delhi know how to win. They got to the final last year because they knew how to chase down. They also knew how to defend. So I don't know why. I don't know what's in my snow in the UK, but I just fancy Delhi will chase down this score.
I mean, they do have the batting, right? I mean, they have somebody like Ajinkya Rahane in there who can kind of be the blocker and say, all right, everybody just play and accelerate around me. And if they were to do that, there's a fair bit of acceleration that can come from those bats, Joy. I know they're not batting till 11, but they're definitely batting till 9.
Yeah, they're batting till 9. They certainly have the batting. And I think, the thing happened that Raina got out early. So the highest score, remember, is 54. And I remember Sachin Tendulkar in an interview saying that in this Wankhede ground, if you get your 50 or 60, you can get a really big one out here. Because it's a small ground, the ball really travels once you start timing the ball. So I can promise you one thing. Anyone in Delhi crosses 70, 80, Delhi will win the game. It needs somebody to play one long inning, somebody to play 70, 75 plus 80. Because what's happened out here is Raina got out at a time when he was just looking set. If Raina had been there, maybe they would have reached 200.
Yeah, that was, Michael, I don't know. I mean, Raina got run out of that, but I feel that even if Jadeja had not run into Avesh Khan, he would have been run out. There was one run out coming. There were no 2 runs then.
No, there was no, I mean, they're both pretty quick. I'd say Jadeja's the quickest of them all, but no, I don't think there was ever 2. It was just one of those, maybe, both players have not played a lot of cricket and maybe they've just forgot the dimensions and the kind of meterage and, what's a 2, what's a single, what's a 3, what's not. There's things like running between the wickets that we don't talk a great deal of when you've not been playing a great deal of cricket. It's quite important. And Ravi Jadeja, I think he might have got his maths wrong in terms of the distances.
Yeah, I think he did and got his angle wrong in terms of where Avesh was standing. Suresh Raina did get his half century. Possibly could have got more. Was not to be today, but a lot of advantages for Chennai there. Now their bowlers have to do the 6 bowling options. For MS Dhoni usually likes to go with a few more. Today he's decided to go with more batting options than bowling. I think it's going to be definitely a cracker contest. 189 for Delhi to get off to a flying start in this tournament. Can they do it or not? Final call, gentlemen. Advantage one way or the other way?
I'm going Delhi today.
Delhi advantage? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Delhi. I'm a bit of a traditionalist and say runs on the board, and it's quite a par score, but I don't know. Delhi. Okay. Don't know why. Just going Delhi.
Okay, instinct. I don't mind the instinct at all. Well, we're going to check how it's going at the halfway mark with Cricbuzz Combox. Right now, I'd like to thank both Joy and Michael for joining us on Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle.